All right. So, shall we now look at Raygun is back in the worst way possible. Are we ready for this, chat? Yes, Rebin. Garbage day! Here we go, chat. We're already starting off hot with this image on the screen. Who? Iron? Do you remember the Australian quote-unquote break dancer who was an absolute joke in the Summer Olympics? That is who Raygun is. She was memed like fucking crazy, and she read like hell at all of her haters. So apparently she's back, and I think she's like suing everybody or something. Anyway, let's see what Raygun's up to, shall we?
They also said I wasn't allowed to do the dance because she owns the Kangaroo Dance.
What?
That one did puzzle me.
Of all of the things to not be surprised about, I am the most not surprised about this of all.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Fume. And you guys know the drill. It's also sponsored by me and my company, Lions Tea Exchange. A reminder once again that I only have literally a couple boxes of my limited edition bourbon barrel chai left, and the other two winter flavors are also almost gone, so if you want a box, I recommend grabbing one now. Also, my ugly boxes are live on the site. These are boxes that have had a bit of a rough journey, maybe they got a bit mushed in transit, maybe they're misprinted, and I don't want to have to waste them, I don't want to throw them away, I don't want to run a business like that, so instead we've popped them on the site at a larger discount. The tea inside is still great, it's still perfectly fine, the box just looks a little bit wonky. So I will link everything in the description box, and you can definitely go check it out. Also, of course, before we get into this video, very Merry Christmas to all of you, and I hope that this Christmas period has been safe and well and wonderful and all the good things, and I hope you all get what you asked for from Santa.
Oh, where she's, the one where she's like flopping around on the ground?
I think we all had a bit of a weird 2024, so, you know, don't be afraid to kick your feet up and have a nice drink, especially if it's a cup of tea. More specifically, my tea. Okay, no, I won't go down that road. No, jokes aside, be safe, be well, make good choices, and yeah, we're just gonna do the video now. Now, I am sure that most of you remember that a couple months ago, I made not one, but two videos about an Australian...
If Raygun was smart, she would have realized, yeah, I look like a complete dumbass in the Olympics on a world stage, and just laughed and leaned into it. If she was smart, that is what she would have done. Because she could have come out smelling a lot more like roses. If she came out of the Olympics and saw her performance, kind of went, yeah, that's bad. And just but said, you know what, fuck it, and leaned into it. And, you know, like, did like coordinated shit breakdancing with other professional dancers and just kind of went with it. Like, okay, well, Cortez, we're well beyond the point of where she can't figure out she could dance. Now let's go to the fact that she fucked up. The smart thing would have been to go with it and just say, yeah, I look stupid as hell. Let's lean into it. And just enjoy, like, join in on the laughing. Because if she joined in on the laughing with people, then she would not be getting laughed at. She would be laughing with. But she didn't, because, I guess we're gonna find out.
Breakdancer called Rachel Gunn, also known by her stage name Raygun, because she participated in the Paris Olympic Games. Again, as the majority of you probably remember, Gunn's performance was so unbelievably bad that she not only won 0 points, but she also catapulted herself to international...
The fuck? Did I just have a stroke? No kidding, it's AI. I tell you what though, what screwed me up was this. she starts talking, I see this, I'm like, wait, that wasn't her, was it? And then it jumps into this, I'm like, okay.
0 points.
And then it does this, and I almost had a fucking heart attack. This almost gave me a goddamn heart attack seeing this.
Devoted herself to international infamy, shall we say. Basically overnight. And yes, the clips I am using of this are AI and not the original clips from the actual event because as a lot of you probably know, when I used those previously, they got copyright claimed. So thank you for that, Raygun. Anyway, clips of her routine went mega viral and the whole thing started a huge amount of commentary.
Chat, are we sure this isn't AI right now? I'm getting some pretty serious Uncanny Valley vibes right now. Anybody else getting that? Maybe now? Okay. Not quite, but like, she's not working with her skin very well. Like, she's got some seriously deep fucking pores going on right here. Somebody give this poor woman help!
Routine went mega viral and the whole thing started a huge amount of commentary around breakdancing in the Olympics generally, and whether or not Gunn herself was a national embarrassment to Australia. Naturally, considering that
Grey Matter, this thing, look, here's the thing, it keeps winkling and smoothing. Watch this again. It goes smooth and then wrinkly, smooth and then wrinkly.
Clips of her routine went mega viral, and the whole thing started a huge amount of commentary around breakdancing in the Olympics generally.
I think she used a filter. No, I think Skull's got it. I think when she did this video here, I think she used a filter. 100%. She used a filter. Look at the way, especially on her forehead. Look at the way it basically flattens and then all the ridge detail comes back.
Started a huge amount of commentary around breakdancing in the Olympics generally, and whether or not Gunn herself was a national embarrassment.
That is, like, especially here. Look, you can see the filter right here. You can see the feathered edges of the filter struggling to try and cope with it. Yeah, Skull, you got it. Yeah, like, look, it's desperately trying to cover this. Yeah, this was a filter. That's why it looks so fucked up. No, Shadow, I know that the Australian sun is harsh. I understand that. But that's why this looks so fucked up, is she was using a beauty filter. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Embarrassment to Australia. Naturally, considering that I am in fact Australian, I felt a need to weigh in and give my 2 cents, because what was that? The first video I made basically went over the path that led Rachel Gunn to the Olympics and some of the other bits and pieces that went.
Yeah, McCorville, we watched a couple videos on this, and yes, that's why she was able. Yeah, her husband was a judge in Australia for getting people onto the Olympic team. He was not a judge in the Olympics, but he was a judge to basically say, okay, you're going on the Olympic team. That we did hear about from in one of the videos that we watched.
Basically went over the path that led Rachel Gunn to the Olympics and some of the other bits and pieces that went along with that. And then because a bunch of clips in that video got copyright claimed, I made another one because I was feeling very put out by that. And by put out, I mean that I was really mad. I also suspected that Gunn herself had some kind of...
Cortana's, they did not end the breakdancing competition. They did not remove breakdancing from the Olympic Games because of Raygun over this. Breakdancing was a one and done thing anyway. The Olympics does this. Excuse me. The Olympics does this. Okay. Thank you for the follow, Tony. I'm just gonna call you Tony. Yeah, the Olympics do this like every few years, every like 1 or 2 cycles. they will add in a bunch of sports for that Olympic Games, and they're like one-and-done games. Apparently, they've been doing this for a while, and breakdancing was one of these one-and-dones. Because they announced that the breakdancing competition would not be returning before Raygun even competed. So before Raygun even hit the stage and did her thing, the Olympic Committee had already announced that that breakdancing would not be returning for the next year. So it was always just a one-and-done thing.
Input in getting those specific clips copyright claimed, not just for me, but also for other creators who use them as well, but more on that later. Now, after all of the Olympics controversy, I genuinely thought that that would kind of be the end of the infamy road for our Australian breakdancing queen. Yeah. That she would just kind of dissolve and fade into nothingness and go gently into that good night. But gotcha, bitch! Boy, was I wrong. Instead, this person who I originally thought was just some goofy lady who, despite her good intentions, is terrible at breakdancing, has turned out to be, it appears, a disingenuous monster. Really, it's crazy. Who could have predicted this? I don't know why I'm saying that like I did, because I definitely didn't. I just thought she would go away, and that would be that. To put it simply...
Oh, I don't think we thought that, did we, chat? The way she was reeing about in the videos that we watched, the way she was going off and reeing about people giving her shit, I don't think any of us thought that she would be going away any time in the near future. Pretty sure we saw like, okay, this is the start of something that could be funny.
Raygun and her legal team, as she likes to say, have spent the last number of weeks terrorizing a small Australian comedian, threatening a comedy club owner from whom they are trying to extort, or tried to extort, $10,000. They effectively stopped proceeds from going to a women's shelter in Sydney and have asserted multiple copyright and trademark claims, but one specifically that revolves around the choreography scene at the Olympics, and more specifically, the kangaroo hop. All while making several very disingenuous and bizarre videos on social media trying to justify all of this.
We were totally blindsided. I said before, it's not about the money, and it is still not about the money.
You guys don't know how sad it makes me that this...
The lie detector... The period in historical revolution, the lie detector test determined that was a fucking lie. And yes, I fumbled the fuck out of that right there. I tripped over my own damn tongue. Yeah, bullshit, it's not about the money. Okay? Bull fucking shit.
This new chair doesn't go back really at all because it's kind of ruined one of the fun shots that I used to do, and now I can't do it. Now I just have to sit upright. Like a corpse. When I do this, just pretend that I'm one of those corpses at the top of Mount Everest that's frozen in place and has to be like this the whole time. Anyway, honestly, watching all of this unfold has been pretty staggering, considering that this woman went from being a virtual nobody to a fun and goofy, jovial figure to a litigious person using the justice system to bully and harass a small-time comedian for making a comedy show. This whole situation is still waiting to find out what the comedy was. But it's definitely absurd, and I want to talk about it because it's my channel and we do what I want here. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how Australia's worst breakdancer took what little fame and goodwill she had among the Australian people and decided instead to become an insufferable monster. But before you once again
Sydney is being too nice,
and together we sailed down this river of weirdness and bizarre accents into whatever the hell this story is, let's hear from today's sponsor, Fume.
Hey you! I really care about your health.
Bedtime.
Thank you? I care about you not breathing in toxic chemicals and making your lungs cry.
Cortanas, as we've seen from some other videos, the Australian courts are kind of a joke. Wasn't it that I forget his name? but he's Australian and the mob was coming after him, and the courts, like, no one would do anything to help him. They even firebombed his house. So, like, from what we, Friendly Jordies. Thank you, Toronto. Yeah, like, from what we've heard, the government and the court systems in Australia are pretty fucking corrupt. So, yeah, it's honestly, I've been hearing that Australia is getting just as bad as Great Britain for some of the shit. So, if they, maybe they're going the DEI route, where she said, "I'm a woman that's being exploited" or something, and the courts are going, "Oh, woman exploited. We have to jump on this." Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We are gonna find out, I'm guessing. But it's fucking crazy, whatever it is.
And don't forget to use code Sydney to get your free Fume topper when you order a Journey Pack. And if you're lucky, you could even win one of Fume's limited edition gold-plated devices this holiday season. Now, this situation started a couple weeks ago on December 6, 2024, when comedian Stephanie Broadbridge announced that a parody musical she had planned, called Raygun the Musical, had been cancelled. The show was inspired by Gunn's breakdancing performance at the Olympics and was set to premiere on December 7th. In a video posted to Instagram, Broadbridge said that Rachel Gunn's lawyers had threatened the venue hosting her show with legal action and $10,000 in legal fees if the event was not terminated.
Hi, I'm comedian Steph Broadbridge. I'm just hanging out in my casual day wear. My trial show tonight for Raygun the Musical has been cancelled. Raygun's lawyers got in touch with the venue and threatened legal action. So
what the
we will
fuck?
be refunding everyone their $10 or comp ticket back for that.
That sucks.
Her lawyers trademarked my poster, which is flattering. I hope they do something fun with that. And they were also worried that I was damaging her brand, which I would never do. She doesn't need...
What fucking brand? What fucking brand does Raygun have? She's an absolute fucking joke. Raygun has done more damage to her brand than, and I use that term extremely liberally, than anyone else could have. If anything, this woman would have been a net positive for her brand. And yeah, sure, it's not... If it was never about the money, why are you trying to protect this quote-unquote fucking brand? If it was never about the money. It's always about the money, you door-riding bitch.
Me to do that. They also said I wasn't allowed to do the dance because she owns the Kangaroo Dance. That one did puzzle me. I mean, that's...
I'd love to see some documentation on that
dance.
one.
How would I possibly be able to do that without any formal breakdancing training?
The event owner himself, Anthony Skinner, also weighed in at a later date and had this to say.
Oh, this would be good.
I'm never paying it. I'll go bankrupt before I give them a cent.
This is a sentiment that I can get behind.
Fucking based on that venue owner. Fucking based. Absolutely, I'm not... Yeah, and that is the correct response, too. Fuck her. Like, she is flat out abusing a corrupt legal system in Australia. That's what she's doing. The legal system in Australia is so fucking corrupt that it's easy to abuse like Raygun is. She knows this, and that's why she's abusing it.
And support. Attaboy. The original letter sent by Gunn's legal team, who are very professional people and who have handled this so professionally this entire time.
Wait. Hang on. Urgent response. We act for Rachel Louise Gunn, our client. We hold significant concerns on the promotion, marketing, and advertising of the show to be performed. We understand that you... What is... Yeah, very professional. You can't even use punctuation properly. We understand that you, have released and sold tickets to a musical titled Raygun the Musical to be performed by Stephanie Broadbridge tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in the King's Hotel in Sydney. Why do you have a comma here? Why do you have a comma here? This makes no sense. Our client is concerned that her name, trademarks, and choreography and likeness is being used without her permission, license, authorization, sponsorship in a manner that infringes her intellectual property rights. In our view, you are causing significant confusion, therefore damage that our client was somehow endorsed to your show, is affiliated with you directly, and have permission to tell the story. Our client is a professional breaker who rose to prominence after her performance in the Olympics. Rose to prominence. Are you fucking kidding me? Your Honor, I would like to present Bullshit Exhibit A. Right the
Amber,
fuck here.
This is what's called a SLAPP suit, a strategic lawsuit against public participation. Billy Mitchell is also filing in Australia against Karl Jobst.
I know, Tornado. I know it's a slap suit. This is like, I remember John Oliver did a whole thing on slap suits. They're basically menace suits to try and bully people into doing something. And they should be not allowed. They should flat out be not allowed. Client is also the owner of accepted trademarks, blankety blank, blankety blank, for the following depictions. So she actually has something trademarked? Is the owner of the trademark application. So has it been approved? She applied to trademark Raygun, but is it approved?
Are very professional people and who have handled this.
Hi Blair, your firm and the person you represent really suck. No one likes you, and your firm as well as Raygun are now the laughingstock of Australia. I hope you enjoyed threatening small comedy club for your own gain. Didn't work out well. I hope you get bubblegum stuck in your hair and it dries before you notice. So do the 137,000 other people. The community of thousands of people are ready to donate to a legal fund that will defend against your disgusting suit. Steph and everyone involved in this performance, Raygun the musical. Up yours. P.S. Have a look at this. Blair, come back to me when you've gone to law school, idiot. For God's sake.
So professionally this entire time, made many claims, but these are the ones that stood out to me. The letter states that the word Raygun is now exclusively associated with their client. Okay. It also makes the claim that Gunn's choreography, as seen at the Olympics, is considered intellectual property, and if used, will be considered an infringement. And
wrong. Suckity raw. I am not a legal scholar, and even I am quite aware you cannot you cannot trademark a dance move. That doesn't work like that. A dance move that is something that is commonly used by the public cannot be trademarked. The only thing she could possibly hope to try and copyright is that name Raygun. You cannot trademark dance moves. It cannot be done. My guess is this was a bluff by her, it was probably a bluff by her legal team. No, it's not commonly used, but dance moves can't be now, maybe I'm wrong. Last I checked, dance moves cannot be trademarked. It's like, that's like trying to trademark a move in a sport. Most of several have been removed because of copyright. Really, Andrea? Really? Okay, so the move itself, okay. So the dance move itself can't be trademarked, but the name can. So you can't call it by its copyrighted name. And that makes sense. That makes sense. That you can trademark or copyright the name of the dance move, but you cannot trademark or copyright the actual move itself.
The silhouette image of Gunn from the Olympics Olympics is also copyrighted material. And just FYI, Broadbridge had originally advertised her show back on September 25th using a poster that showed the aforementioned silhouette, but more on that later. Am I too infringing copyright? Are my dance moves also infringing copyright?
Uh-oh.
I think I'm gonna—
No, Sydney, you're okay. You didn't do the kangaroo, you just did the dying seal. I think you're fine. You're okay, Sydney.
I'm gonna go ahead and buy the actual tracksuit associated with all of this because I have a feeling I'm gonna need it in future. Because when these people start acting like psychos in one situation, it's usually not the last situation. Now, in news that'll be absolutely no surprise to any of you, Australians really didn't do so well with this information, and they reacted about how you'd expect, with mockery and anger. And because these situations are almost always the gift that keeps on giving, it turned out that what I just described wasn't the end of the situation, and Gunn and her legal team took things a step further. The owner of the comedy club where this performance was said to take place, his name is Anthony Skinner, told Gunn's lawyers that only 70 tickets had been sold to the show, making a profit of $500. In an attempt to reconcile the issue, he offered them the $500, hoping that would square things away. They categorically said no and instead demanded that the comedy club owner reimburse Rachel Gunn $10,000 in legal fees to date. Yeah.
Chat. It's not about the money. It was never about the money, was it? No. Demanding someone pay over what is that, like, fuck, that was about a hundred more than 100, almost like 250 times what you would have earned in legal fees, in just legal fees. And like, aren't you fucking kidding me? What did they do besides send a letter? Guarantee they said legal fees. They would have taken the lawyer would have probably taken $2,000, and Raygun would have pocketed the rest. Guarantee, because literally all they did was send a letter. They just sent a letter saying, cease and desist, we want $10,000. They didn't go to court. They didn't do fuck all. So that was Raygun. They threw out a number. Raygun would have pocketed the majority of that.
Yeah, because sending one legal letter definitely amounts to $10,000. Yeah, that's a—
Oh my God, Sydney, give me bread for my brain. Holy fuck! Okay. Someone pony up for Sydney. I can't reach through the screen and get it from her.
Exactly how lawyers work. On top of that, it turns out that the $500 in question was actually raised as part of a charity effort for a local women's shelter. Because
my God,
ain't that the cherry on this cake? You kind of have to love the irony in that Rachel Gunn, this cool, fun professor who cares so much about gender in breakdancing and writes about—
Tanashi? Maybe I'll take a page out of Raygun's book and say $10,000. No, I'm not being serious, chat. Don't you fucking dare. I know how your brains work. Do not dare. I'm joking. I'm only joking.
women accessing breakdancing and feminism and whatnot is blocking money from getting to a women's shelter. Sometimes reality is the fiction I dream about. Now, again, like—
Dream about or have a nightmare about? Because I'm sorry, Raygun just took $500 from a women's shelter. I don't know if she I don't know if she has a Twitch handle, Raygun. I don't know. And Sin Addict, thank you for the follow. Like, honestly, I'm more surprised, and maybe Sydney will get into this, that there has not been more of an uproar against Raygun the Australians are not shy in cursing someone out. So I'm surprised that she has not had the C word thrown at her 6 ways to Sunday. I would, especially when it came out that she basically was trying to take money away from what was supposed to go to a women's shelter. That, like, I'm waiting to see, maybe, maybe the sun is coming, but I would have expected a lot of outrage on that one.
Like I said, people were not pleased by the situation.
Well, those were,
and
the comedian said they were $10 a ticket.
Asking, why did you pick these people to go after? Like, why is this the hill that you've chosen to die on? Why haven't you gone after Jimmy Fallon or any other big figure who has mocked or done something satire-based or...
I can answer this one real easy, and I'm sure Sydney would probably answer too, because they actually have corporate lawyers that would take one look at Raygun's lawyers and go, go away, little child. That's why Raygun has not gone after them, is because they have big-ass corporate lawyers that will smack the ever-living fuck out of her rinky-dink little law team. It's as simple as that. Yeah, they don't want to go to war with NBC, CBS, or ABC. 'Cause they'll get annihilated. I mean, it's not rocket science, so...
even just fully ripped off what Raygun has done? And these are some very good questions, probably because their lawyers are much better and will just laugh her out of the room. The blowback more or less forced Gunn to respond. So in 2 videos of her own, one on December 12th and the other on December 20th, she addressed the issue. I won't lie, her response doesn't make a ton of sense. And while there are elements to this story that I actually do get, that I can understand why she's done what she's done, overall, I don't really think that a lot of what she has to say adds up. I will also say that fellow Aussie YouTuber Lewis Spears was kind enough to send me all of the documents associated with the situation, so I've been able to read all of these for myself and find out exactly what Gunn's lawyers wrote initially. Lewis has also covered this topic and done a wonderful job doing so, so I will link his videos in the description box if you want to watch them as well. Xbox. Now, during her first video, Rachel Gunn made the claim that she didn't even know that this parody musical was happening until December 6th when the Sydney Morning Herald published an article. As Lewis points out in his video on the issue, this is very interesting and a very interesting claim to make when you consider that on the very same day Stephanie Broadbridge announced the show, September 25th, Gunn applied to copyright the very same image Broadbridge used on her flyer. Okay, Rachel, you didn't know. We believe.
Wait. Wait, fucking wait. So she applied for copyright of the image. Yeah, I didn't hear that again.
This is very...
I heard you need $10,000 for the desk fund.
Stop it!
I don't have that to give you, so here's 100 biddies. This a joke, YouTube. Smiley face. Cheer 100.
Interesting. Published an article. As Lewis points out in his video on the issue, this is very interesting and a very interesting claim to make when you consider that on the very same day Stephanie Broadbridge announced the show, September 25th, Gunn applied to copyright the very same image Broadbridge used on her flyer. Okay, right.
So, am I not correct that if the flyer came out before the filing occurred, the flyer should be fine? The flyer would not be in violation of copyright because it came out before the copyright was ever even filed? Am I wrong about that when it comes to copyright? And, Barnyard, welcome to the live version. I hope you like it as much as on YouTube. That's what I would think. that if it, yeah, you bad wolf, you're right. Now, okay, bearing in mind, of course, Nintendo got away with it in Japanese litigation, and Japanese litigation heavily favors the gaming industry. It's possible that Australia is also favoring, Raygun in this over a nothing comedian. It is indeed very dependent upon the country, so maybe it's just due to the fact that this was Australia, and Australian law is fucked. Australians in chat, you can tell me if this is a correct sentiment or not. But it sounds like the Australian legal system is fucked up 6 ways to Sunday on this. And by the way, partner, thank you for the follow.
Rachel, you didn't know. We believe you. Gunn goes on to say that the news surrounding the musical made people believe she was associated with the event or had at least endorsed it, which hurt her personal and business-related relationships.
We were totally blindsided by this, and unfortunately the blowback was quick. People assumed that we had developed it, that we had approved it, and it damaged many relationships, both personal and professional.
Oh, I want some fucking evidence on that one. Give me some fucking evidence on that one. That it harmed professional and personal relationships? I'm sorry, but you are so full of shit it defies description at this point. That is absolute fucking horseshit. How the hell is a comedy show about your stupid breakdancing damaging business relationships and personal ones? Like, what the actual fuck are we even talking about here? Brevin? Here's the thing, was the comedy show even gonna talk about that? I don't know. This was actually, here's the crazy part. This was an opportunity for Rachel to actually bolster her image. This is how badly she fucked up. If she'd actually gone whole hog and said, you know what? I want to be a part of this. You're raising money for a women's charity. Even though she is an absolute dog shit dancer, she still could have gone in on this and said, you know what? Let me in on this. Let me do something with this to try and promote it to bring in more people. Think of how much of a net positive that would have been for her if she'd actually ran with this and this comedian. And instead, she's turned herself into public enemy number 1 on multiple fucking fronts. That is fucking crazy. This woman is fucking delusional. And she is an attention whore. That's what it is. She is an attention whore. Because the attention is not focused on her, she's gonna file and threaten lawsuits.
So this is why my management and legal team had to work so quickly to shut the musical down.
Again, maybe it's because I am the Grinch. Maybe it's because I am Scrooge McDuck. Is that what that's a thing, Scrooge McDuck? It doesn't matter.
Not in the context
you're
thinking of.
I am the one who is being a Scrooge here, but I don't believe this. I don't believe this for a second. You mean to tell me that a small-time comedian at a small-time comedy club doing a show to only a handful of people about someone's debut at the Olympics, which is being promoted as a parody, hurt relationships, both personal and business? Well, call me Scrooge McDuck, because I don't believe this. The other thing...
No one believes it. Absolutely no one. And Mike, you're absolutely right. Give her front row tickets? Fucking invite her up on stage to join in on the dancing. Make the event that much bigger. this is like, it actually hurts how much of a missed opportunity this was for her, that she could have actually done something positive. That Raygun could have actually taken her, basically her notoriety, and turned it into a fucking positive. She could have actually made lemonade out of lemons. And she did it. And honestly, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that she went this route. Because in my head, I could actually see her going a completely different way with this, and making something good out of this. Using basically her joke of a dance to help this comedian raise money for women's shelter. That actually hurts, because I could see the positive. I could see the potential positive there. And now it's not possible because of this stupid bitch. And honestly, I'm not angry about that. It hurts my heart that this was a missed opportunity like this to help other people. It sucks.
Thing here that takes me out a little bit is that Australians have a long history of participating in banter and being able to take a joke. Or at least they used to. I don't know about now. Aussies also have a long history of making terrible parody musicals about figures and celebrities in our culture. We've had Shane Warne the musical, dedicated to our favorite cricket player, Keating, all about our 24th Prime Minister, and just last year, the ABC created a new series, Australian Epic, covering all sorts of classic Australian cultural moments through the medium of song and dance. And now, did you think that when the audiences went to watch a musical about the guy who used to run the country, they believed that he was directly involved in its production?
You have autism. You may not notice, but you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Probably not. Anyway, nobody was looking at a parody musical advertised by a small comedy club and thinking, you know what, this thing that is 100% going to tease and make fun of Raygun in a fun manner, in a nice manner, is 100% backed by her. She is participating and she might even be directing it. Don't forget, Gunn claimed she had first heard about this performance from the Sydney Morning Herald article, which includes inspired in the headline. In fact, even the articles Gunn's lawyers included in their original letter also say that Raygun is getting a musical, not that she's making one or associated with one or whatever. I don't know how much clearer you can get.
One tiny little gimme I'm going to say on this one. Is Raygun getting a musical? Yeah, Raygun is getting her very own musical. I can see how that particular phrasing could allude to Raygun herself making the musical. That phrasing, Raygun is getting her own very own musical, does sound like Raygun, like this is Raygun's project, because very often in news we hear so-and-so is getting a game, a show, a movie, or whatever. That, the wording in this article does kind of imply that that Raygun is directly involved. So I do have to give it on that one. It was bad phrasing by this journalist to say that Raygun is getting her own musical. Unfortunately, yeah, if Raygun said that this is implying that she's directly involved, she is right. She is kind of right on that one. I've got to give her this one.
In fact, even the articles Gunn's lawyers included in their original letter also say that Raygun is getting a musical, not that she's making one or associated with one or whatever. I don't know how much clearer you can get. Seriously. Gunn does go on to say a bunch of other things in her first video, but for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to summarize the primary ones. She confirms that she did trademark her signature kangaroo pose, and this is about the only part of this that I can get behind. Gunn rightly points out that she did that because other people were trying to copyright her image and likeness to use for commercial purposes, and she wanted to protect herself. And frankly, this is actually something that I think is completely fair enough and a completely reasonable thing to do, because
problem. Have a problem. Chat, how many of you have ever heard of the dance move, the bunny hop? How many of you have ever heard of that? It's kind of an old-timey, kiddie dance move. What she did that she's calling the kangaroo? That's the fucking bunny hop. That is literally the bunny hop that she did, that she's calling the kangaroo and is putting copyright. So, no! No! She should not be able to get the copyright. Because literally her move is another move. Her move, the kangaroo, is not new. It is using an old, already existing move. No, big dog. It's not copyrighted because the people who came up with the bunny hop were not that fucking stupid. Well, baby T, the argument came up earlier, the discussion, I should say. There was no argument, there was a discussion. And you can copyright, right, you can trademark the name of a dance move. You cannot trademark or copyright the dance move in and of itself. So if somebody does the kangaroo, you can't say you're doing the kangaroo. You can call it by what it is, the bunny hop.
It's weird to consider that if you go viral or do something that's socially impactful, other people can come along and trademark things associated with you. That's just... I find that really bizarre. I'm sure there are those of you in the comments who are going to tell me why this is fine and normal, but I am of the view that if you do this to another person, you are a weirdo. And it's weird that this is okay. And honestly...
No, you're not a weirdo. You're a sociopathic bitch. She's doing all of this out of spite. That's why she's doing this. There is no damage to her fucking brand. Not that there is one in the first place. There is no damage to her business relationships. Not that she has any. There is no damage to her personal relationships. For fuck's sake. Saying that there is damage to your personal relationships from this is fucking psychotic. Like, you want to say that your personal relationships are being damaged by this comedian doing a show like this? I want fucking proof. I want fucking proof. Or it ain't happening. 'Cause guess what? It ain't happening. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar and you're a petty little bitch.
Honestly, to further defend Madam Flip-Floppy over here, she isn't even the first person to do this. Usain Bolt did the same thing with his lightning pose, and that cool Turkish, sharpshooting guy from the Paris Olympics also trademarked his own pose. So, there's that.
Really?
So I don't know what to tell you. I guess I support it.
Really? I guess in Turkey, they have really weird copyright laws? How the hell can you copy holding an air pistol with your hand in your pocket? How the fuck can you copyright that? Yeah. How and I'm assuming he did the copyright in Turkey. Then again, it is Turkey, and Turkey is pretty fucked up from a governmental and, from a governmental and court standpoint, Turkey is not exactly great. Usain Bolt, where's Usain Bolt from? I forget. Did Scott actually assume that pose with the hand in the pocket? I don't think he did. I think Scott, I'm pretty sure, did a two-handed grip, I thought. He did? Okay. And he's from, okay, I'm seeing Jamaica and I'm seeing Uganda. Yeah, okay, so he's Jamaican. I'm assuming Usain Bolt would have filed in Jamaica. I have no fucking clue. Well, Sydney's saying they copyrighted the pose. Now,
she wants everyone to forget her dance but keep reminding people of it. Cheer 100.
No, Duran, I think she wants to try and twist reality and make it seem like she did great in the Olympics when she was flopping around like a dead fucking seal. That's my thing. She's trying to alter people's perception of reality. Don't believe your own lying eyes. And Turtle, you could be right. Like Sydney was saying, Usain Bolt and Youssef copyrighted their pose, but I'm wondering if they copyrighted their visage. Like the silhouette of the visage, like Usain Bolt doing his lightning bolt stance and Youssef doing his stance, but like his actual visage so people can't use it for marketing. That is certainly possible, and that makes sense. Copywriting yourself, like an image of yourself in that pose, to prevent someone from using it for marketing, cool. That I absolutely can get behind. And I'm wondering if that's what they copyrighted, and Sydney was just a little bit vague in terms of the copyright that they filed. And if that's the case, then if that's what Raygun was doing and copywriting her visage in that, Twunk Velociraptor pose, fine. You want to copyright that? Go right the fuck ahead. That's fine. Dance moves? No. No, you don't get to copyright that. And hi, Andy.
Make some merch and get that bag, girl. But this is unfortunately about where my understanding ends. Gunn also confirms here that despite what people are saying online, she did not trademark or try to trademark the Kangaroo Dance, which checks out because you can't trademark a dance. Her lawyers...
Okay! So I was right. You cannot trademark the dance. Okay. So, teeny tiny bit of faith in humanity restored there, at least in Australia. Okay.
Instead claimed that this was part of her copyrighted choreography. Now, to be clear here, when people have been talking about the Kangaroo Dance, they just mean
you were
this
right,
little
Atari.
hopping sequence. What Raygun has actually copyrighted...
Wait, hang on, I talked over Sydney there.
They just mean this little when people have been talking about the Kangaroo Dance, they just mean this little hopping sequence. What Raygun has actually copyrighted, or what she claims to have copyrighted, is the Olympic level choreography that is a complex sequence of moves and techniques. Her copyright, just to be clear, amounts to the entire dance, if we can call it that. Because without getting into all of the nitty-gritty details of it, you can't copyright a little dance move like this if it's not part of a wider performance, and more importantly, the dance needs to be original. So let's say that you're another professional breakdancer and you just...
Yeah, so basically, and again, this is actually okay. If she copyrighted her full routine, such as it was, that she performed in the Olympics, as she performed it, sure. Sure. If you want to copyright that Olympic routine that no one is ever going to perform outside of comedy, go for it. And if someone did want to do it for comedy, how hard do you think it would be to alter it and avoid the copyright? Like, literally, all you would have to do is just flail around and flop on the ground several times, and boom, you have just made fun of Raygun. So, if she was, her copywriting the routine in its entirety, step for step, beat for beat, such as they were, sure. fine. I don't have too much of an issue with it. No one's gonna do it. It's a stupid copyright regardless.
Just decide one day to rip off Raygun's entire performance, and then you record that and put it on YouTube in a totally serious, non-satirical, non-funny manner. Or maybe you use it as a, in another professional dance show. Why? I don't know. In this context, Raygun probably has good cause to come after you for just completely stealing her choreography. Like, fair enough. It's why you couldn't do an entire ballet without getting the rights to it. But as far as that kangaroo hop goes, it's nobody's original work. People have probably been hopping like kangaroos since the first Aboriginals laid eyes on them, and the Wiggles absolutely have been doing this for like 20 years. Honestly, ripping off the Wiggles feels pretty on brand for Raygun. The bottom line is that even if she wanted to, Rachel Gunn and her legal team would have a really hard time arguing this in court, which her lawyers, if they were any good, should have known. And
so basically, if anyone has a stroke or epileptic seizure in public, she can sue them. Okay, why?
Remember, Big Dog, it's in the context if you're doing it seriously and not as parody. And I'm reasonably sure medical emergency probably qualifies as not being a serious attempt at recreation. Just a guess. Just a guess.
Probably did know, but none of that mattered because they could leverage that the average person doesn't know this to scare the crap out of a small comedian and a comedy club owner. And that brings me to perhaps one of the most important parts of this, and something else that her lawyers also knew. You cannot legally stop a parody. The Australian 1968 Copyright Act clearly allows people to create satirical or parody performances without infringing copyright. So if Broadbridge at the end of her show decided to, in a dramatic finish, do the entirety of Raygun's choreography from start to finish, but did it within the grander context of her show, that's a satirical, periodic expression, and it's completely legal. To go a little Trumpy on you all for a second, this situation, what we're seeing here, is called the weaponization of the justice system. I think that's pretty clear when you consider—
That's not— okay. To give Sydney a lot of slack here, that's not Trumpian. The justice system has been getting weaponized against people for decades. Okay, that's like the whole concept behind slap lawsuits. It is the legal and the justice system being weaponized by bigger people with more money against the little guy trying to get by and just trying to do something, not deliberately attempting to infringe on copyright. That is the entire purpose of slap lawsuits. They have been in play for years, and it is weaponizing the justice system. That's not Trumpian, and that's not Australian in nature only. It happens in the entire Western modern world. And they should be done away with. Slap lawsuits should go away. They absolutely need to go away because they are a absolutely insane strain on the legal system and serve no purpose but to help people that have more money. It's literally, its purpose is only to assist people in a higher tax bracket with more money to punch down on people that don't have the money to fight it, and so they have no option but to cave. That's the only purpose of slap lawsuits.
This entire situation as a whole, where you have Raygun even saying herself that she didn't want to go to court and didn't want to take this comedy club owner and Stephanie Broadbridge to court. But like, why would you be going to court? No, you just want $10,000 from them. Completely fine. Everything makes me so annoyed. Obviously, I don't know what goes on in the head of Rachel Gunn or her legal team, but I am of the opinion, based on all—
my guess is something akin to a bunch of angry hornets flying around making a fuck ton of noise that you don't want to hear. So I'll save you the trouble.
the evidence available that the exclusive and sole purpose here was to shut down this show. And I say that because I am of the view that if this really was just about protecting a piece of intellectual property, the trademark, that is the only part of this that I think really has any meaningful legal standing, they probably wouldn't have gone about it in such an extreme way. I get the impression from Rachel Gunn's second video that she's annoyed that the parody is allowed to continue but under a different name and with a different flyer and whatnot. I think it annoys her that people make fun of her as much as she likes to claim the alternative, as much as she likes to say that it doesn't bother her and she can have a laugh about all of this. I just don't get the impression that she can. And the thing that makes me so mad about this second video that Rachel...
And again, this was an opportunity for Raygun to turn this into a net positive. She could have rolled with this and made this something positive and actually elevated this precious brand that she's so concerned about by getting involved with this comedian and rolling with the joke for a show that was to promote a charity with all proceeds going to a charity. That would have been a net positive. There literally would have been no downside for Raygun if she let this go and even participated. So it's because of that, of course it's 100% about the money. That and the fact that she was asking for $10,000 fucking dollars on a $500 take.
And thus life gets weirder for no reason. Cheer 100.
Not weirder, Grey Wolf. I would actually say more cruel, honestly. This feels more cruel than weird. And again, I can see what could have been. I absolutely see what could have been. I can see in my head the positive that could have been. And it breaks my heart that it didn't go that way. Because this could have been someone who got humiliated at the Olympics, but took that and turned it around and turned it into a positive to do something good for other people. And she didn't. And that hurts my heart that she didn't do that.
Gun made is that she says that she basically forced Stephanie Broadbridge to apologize publicly. Now, she is also apologizing, but she spends a lot of the time trying...
Robin, if somebody parodied me, that'd be fine. As long as it's not being done, like, out of cruelty, like, where someone's literally, like, where someone's doing it to be deliberately cruel and to be an asshole about it. If someone, like, wanted to do a parody of me and my stuff, let me know about it. And, like, I'm fine with someone doing, like, comedy and parody. It's, you know, when it's done in good fun, I consider it a compliment. I would consider it a compliment. If someone wanted to do a parody of me in good fun, I would consider that a compliment that someone considers me, my stream, my channel, what I do, big enough to warrant parody. That's kind of that's a compliment to me. Just, again, as long as it's done in good fun and is not done mean-spirited to, and done out of, like, anger or something like that for, like, no good reason, yeah, I'm fine with parody being done.
Trying to distance herself from this entire situation and acts as if her lawyers act of their own accord, just do what they want and act of their own volition. She claims that they haven't sought any legal costs from the situation, which again is untrue, as written here at the bottom of this second letter that clearly states, "You will reimburse our client with legal costs to date, which we estimate to be $10,000.
We have not sought any costs from all this. So there's a lot of talk around this $10,000. That was from really early on. Day one, my lawyers were acting on my behalf. They'd sent out letters, and...
A letter. They sent out a letter and charged $10,000. You know the kind of lawyers that charge $10,000 for sending out a letter? The very lawyers that you are afraid to go up against, not your rinky-dink little legal team. Don't try and bullshit.
You know, they asked for a response by a certain time. They didn't hear a response. And, you know, we were worried that we might have to go to court. Obviously, no one wants that. And so the 10K would just be my potential legal costs if we had to go to court.
Gunn makes it sound like her lawyers were going rogue and just doing whatever they wanted, which is probably not the case, given that they have an obligation to run things past their client. So although Gunn tries to distance herself from this, she certainly knew what was taking place, even if she didn't know what was specifically being said. The bottom line for me here with this situation is that I fully respect and endorse people protecting their intellectual property, even if that intellectual property is a goofy, bizarro breakdancing thing. However, this situation feels malicious in a way that I can't quite explain.
It is malicious.
And as an aside, something that I think
it is malicious. I'm thinking I explained it pretty well earlier into this video. She is an attention whore. She wants to be the sole proprietor of her footage, of her dance, because she wants to use it for her own marketing, and she wants the attention. Now, whether or not she's oblivious to the fact that said marketing is people laughing at her, I don't know, and I don't care. But that's why. She's nuts. She's just nuts. There's no other way to put it. She's just fucking brain rotted.
Is really sad is that Rachel Gunn, despite going viral for being goofy, had the opportunity to become a really well-liked national icon. Australian celebrities, to their credit, take goofy situations and silly situations
this is what I was saying.
And flip them and make them positive all the time and become known for those things. But she's, for some reason, decided to go in the opposite direction, and honestly, I find that really disappointing.
This is what I was saying.
Situation is that Stephanie Broadbridge ended up changing the name of her show and changed the flyer. It now looks like this, and she's still going on the road, and honestly it'll probably do better now because of all this publicity. But
oh wait, you guys couldn't see it because you were blocking. Hang on, I'll pull it back up again. Hang on, let me pull you guys out of the way here. Breaking the Musical, a completely legal parody musical. Nice. Very slick. I like that.
Publicity. But I think for Rachel Gunn, the damage is done. Pardon the rhyming. Regardless if there was a legitimate claim to this entire situation, on a public consciousness level, she has unfortunately painted herself as a petty person, willing and attempting to go after small creators and small business owners. So whatever goodwill she may have had with Aussies, and I'm not sure how much was left before the situation popped off, that is well and truly gone. Ultimately, Rachel Gunn does have the right to conduct herself and her business however she sees fit. But I'm not so sure that this situation
also have the right to call her out on the
this
bullshit
way at all. And frankly, I don't think this is going to be the last that we hear from her with relation to something like this. Now, before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder to check out Fume using the link in the description. They have been a longtime friend of this channel, so if this is something that you want to check out, I recommend doing so. I love them. I think they're wonderful.
That's what I'm saying.
And they are worth supporting as a company.
Screw up.
Now I open the floor to all of
dive
you.
into it headlong and make something positive out of it.
Rachel Gunn and her team have a fair claim here? Do you think that they're just doing business as usual and you can't use copyrighted stuff, you can't use trademarks, and this was the only way to go about it, to shut down this show and to tell this comedian, no, ma'am, you will not? Do you think that she's in the wrong and this was just such a crazy thing to do to begin with, and she could have handled it so much more professionally and with so much more grace? Do you think that really we don't have enough information to weigh in and all of this is speculative?
No, we certainly do.
What do you think of what Stephanie Broadbridge stage has to say about this. Do you think that her show would have been funny? Do you think it would have been insulting? And what you generally make of this issue overall. As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel because it really helps. And also, if you want, you can leave me a like and a comment because I do read the majority of your comments and I always like hearing your feedback. Of course, have a very Merry Christmas, all of you. Once again, I hope you all stay very safe and very well. Eat lots of yummy food, open lovely presents, be with family, enjoy yourselves.
This is what she does at the end, big dog.
You wonderful, beautiful, pretty people in the next video.
Okay. That was... You know, you guys, I heard about some of this, but holy crap, I did not hear about all of this. And goddamn. That's pretty fucking insane. That is honestly pretty fucking nuts that she's going to those extremes instead of doing the smart thing. And I'm gonna reiterate it one last time. I've said it a couple times, but I'm gonna, as the final thought on this video, it sucks because I can picture in my head how this could have gone so much better for her, and it sucks that it didn't. It sucks that she didn't choose to go that route for reasons.